Absolutely fascinating what's happening here. In the United States, climate change is causing the Florida real estate market to crash, according to Clean Technica. Here's their story on what's actually happening. Now, I personally have seen similar things myself. Here in Australia, we're seeing some extreme weather events that are causing houses and the shoreline, the coast, to fall into the ocean. Right? Even where I live here, we're seeing crazy things that have literally never happened before. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. Great to have you with us. Carolyn Fortuna says for Clean Technica that she remembers after the 2004 hurricanes, Jean and Francis, how the Florida real estate market fell apart. A friend then said we could buy low, but we wouldn't live long enough to see our investment flourish. Of course, she was wrong. And the Florida real estate market not only rebounded, but created nest eggs for a lot of middle class people. Then the Champlain Towers South condominium collapsed in Surfside, Florida in 2021, killing 98 people and becoming one of the deadliest structural failures in US history. Florida significantly revised its building safety regulations a year later through the enactment of Senate Bill 4D. The legislation enabled rigorous requirements for mandatory structural milestone impactions for aging coastal condominiums that are 25 years or older and 3 stories or more in height. Now, I don't know about you, but when you get coastal erosion, it can really damage the structure under your house. And when that happens, doesn't matter what your building code is, your house is probably going to fall down. Carolyn says, as if the resulting cost to bring buildings up to current building standards weren't enough, then hurricanes Ian 2022, Helene 2024, and Milton hit. People in Florida now experience increased risks from heat, precipitation, and floods due to climate change. A warming climate means stronger winds, higher storm surges, and record rainfalls during hurricane season, which is why hurricanes are becoming more destructive and costly. And here in Newcastle, in Australia, we've gone through a sort of a similar thing where there's been whole areas of land that are just falling into the ocean. And there was a childcare centre just literally 100 metres from me. It doesn't exist anymore. It fell into the ocean, the entire place. NOAA explains that hurricanes start with the evaporation of warm seawater, which pumps water into the lower atmosphere. This humid air is then dragged aloft when converging winds collide and turn upwards. At higher altitudes, water vapor starts to condense into clouds and rain, releasing heat that warms the surrounding air, causing it to rise as well. As the air far above the sea rushes upwards, even more warm, moist air spirals in from along the surface to replace it. The link between ocean surface temperatures and tropical storm intensity exists because warmer waters fuel more energetic and often very deadly storms. Colorado State University hurricane researchers are predicting an above average Atlantic hurricane season in their initial 2025 forecast. CSU's tropical cyclones, radar, atmospheric modeling, and software team within the Department of Atmospheric Science cites above average subtropical Eastern Atlantic Ocean and Caribbean Sea surface temperatures as a primary factor for the prediction of 9 hurricanes this year. Now, if that happens, you might not want to be in Florida. 9 is quite a lot. When waters in the eastern subtropical Atlantic are much warmer than normal in the spring, they explain, it forces a weaker subtropical high and associated weaker winds blowing across the tropical Atlantic. These conditions will likely lead to a continuation of above average water temperatures across most of the tropical Atlantic for most of the 2025 hurricane season, which could be catastrophic. While still recovering from Hurricane Ian, Lee County, Florida experienced significant impacts from major hurricanes Helene and Milton. The human cost was enormous. Millions of residents were displaced, faced severe property damage, and experienced the loss of irreplaceable things, stuff that you just can't get back. Money can't replace them. In March 2025, the county held a public input meeting regarding the 2024 Disasters Draft Action Plan required to distribute the $1 billion allocated to the county post-hurricanes Helene and Milton. Awarded by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, the community development of block grant disaster recovery funds support long-term recovery efforts in Lee County. Preliminary storm impact data indicated that public infrastructure restoration and single-family home rehab were the largest remaining unmet needs in the community following the storms. Florida's homeowners were already dealing with steeply rising insurance premiums. Sometimes these insurance premiums can be so high that people just struggle to pay them. And that was before those two hurricanes hit. In the years 2021 to 2024, Floridians experienced the greatest premium hikes in absolute dollars of any US state, $2,118 annually in increases. Insurance companies, including Farmers and Progressive Corporation, dropped home policies altogether. They're not willing to even insure. Many homeowners had no choice but to use the state-backed insurer of absolute last resort, Citizens Property Insurance Corporation. In 2025, for condo complexes that haven't completed required work as delineated in their milestone surveys, the overwhelming losses have triggered surging reinsurance rates for many individuals and homeowner associations. Climate change has created what many are calling a perfect storm. The cost of HOA insurance rate hikes triggered by extreme weather events and compounded by special assessments to pay for the required milestone work have priced many condo owners out of the Florida real estate market. While having a warm and sunny vacation home is awesome, not much better than that, is there? What's becoming known as a climate cost burden has changed the equation of what it means to live in Florida, to own a house in Florida. 10 new insurance companies have entered the state, but with the additional company options come average premiums with larger deductibles. Meanwhile, climate change is complicating the insurance dilemma. A higher water table and more frequent damaging storms can drive salt water into sub-basements and rust rebar in the building's concrete, destabilizing the building from underneath. This will force more milestone concrete work among other major construction projects. Reports of Florida's median home prices have dropped 3.1% in April from a year earlier. And obviously, owners are stressed out. The value of their homes is going down and their insurance premiums are skyrocketing, and the remediation work they have to do is also going up. For the first quarter overall, single-family home sales dropped by 2% year over year. Condo townhouse sales fell by 9%. Inventory in Miami-Dade County, which includes one of the most expensive metro markets in Florida and the country, rose by more than 43% in April compared to the same month a year earlier. It's not like the economy is struggling, right? The economy is doing fairly well, and yet there is massive amounts of inventory available. A total of 2,100 homes went under contract in Miami-Dade in April, down by 20% compared to a year earlier. Those homes spent an average of 81 days on the market, which is a significant increase from the same time last year. In other words, you can clearly see the real estate market in Miami is definitely being affected, as it would be. I've got to say, Florida looks great to me, but I'd be second guessing myself if I was going to invest money in that market, knowing what could happen. The New York Times describes this week how foreign buyers can no longer be counted on to prop up South Florida's condo market. Many foreign investors are looking elsewhere because of high interest rates, expensive prices, and restrictive immigration policies, along with, of course, the risks around all of these tornadoes. The Miami Association of Realtors reports that home sales to foreign buyers dropped to 10% of all transactions in the region from August 2023 to 2024, the lowest level for 10 years, and a stark drop from 50% in 2018. Essentially, what was happening is overseas investors were propping up the Florida real estate market. Those overseas investors, they're gone. Most of them are gone. You've gone 50% of the market to 10%. What happens when more storms hit Florida? There will be more. It's not going to slow down. It's going to accelerate. And this is going to be very stressful for a lot of people living in Florida. They're going to be seeing this news regularly. I don't believe this is just unlucky that this has happened. I think it's only going to get worse from here. So this is one of the things that climate change does. It doesn't just cause coastal erosion and flooding from rain and all that kind of stuff, it also causes an enormous increase in cyclones and tornadoes. So guys, let me know what you think. How do you feel about this? Has this affected your area? Do you see these changes in your area where you live? Let us know in the comments.